So, welcome to the behind the scenes series documenting my preparation for the Jungle Ultra. But before I get on to what the Jungle Ultra actually is, I want to tell you what you can expect from this series. Not only are we going to be talking about the physiological preparation, about the events and how I get myself mentally and physically prepared for the race, I also want to showcase, document and demonstrate how one can concurrently pursue these adventure races, can pursue excellence in physiological preparation whilst concurrently doing well in your place of work, doing all the things that maybe have been put on the back burner since you were a younger man to ensure you become the most effective and the most hard to kill version of yourself. So I'm going to be talking about how I manage business, how I manage responsibilities, how I manage energy and training in order to become the very best version of you as I get ready for the Jungle Ultra. So just a quick bit about the Jungle Ultra. What actually is it? Similar format to the MDS, but with some very new, very specific challenges. This time, a little bit shorter distance. We're going to be covering 230 kilometers over 5 days. But those 230 kilometers are through the Peruvian Amazon rainforest. Starting at altitudes of over 10,000 feet, we're going to be in environments where there is 100% relative humidity, where effective oxygen is less than 14%. And of course, it wouldn't be a race if we weren't self-sufficient. So we'll be carrying all of our own food, water, kit and equipment up to and including hammocks and medical supplies. So safe to say it's going to be a hell of a challenge mentally and physically, one that I'm enormously looking forward to, not only doing, but also demonstrating and showcasing my preparations for as well. So I hope you enjoy it. I'd love if you could follow me along for this journey and we'll make it an exciting one for you. Cool. So, just finalising the packing of the last few bits. As you've already seen, we are wild camping for the first of this series, because one thing people don't take into consideration when they are preparing for these adventure races, which is very, very different to just a single day ultra, whether it be a 50k, 50 miler, 100 miler, ultimately it doesn't involve a lot of sleep, it doesn't involve a lot of survivability. One thing that differentiates races like the MDS or the Jungle is you are going to have to survive, and it doesn't matter how fast you can run a 10k or a 50k, because you're going to have to do it again and again and again. And what's important is your ability to administrate yourself, your ability to survive, and your ability to take care of yourself and keep all of your kit and equipment in good order, because failure to do so means ultimately a DNF on the race. So just here packing the last few bits of food, kit and equipment ready for an incredible night, hopefully under some stars. So going in, we've got some Thai green chicken curry. These are, or were, the staple of what I use in the desert. I really liked them. Great digestibility, great palatability. So these are my staple. Just testing a few different menus, because if I'm honest, I can't tolerate any more of the same flavors as last year. These were a secondary staple. This is cream of rice with whey protein powder. So super high digestibility, fucking ram full of carbohydrates, like 80% carbohydrate, and obviously then we've got protein in to facilitate satiety and recovery, which is something that people overlook. Whenever I look through people's diets and look through people's nutritional protocols for races like this, it's jam full of carbohydrates and fats, but there's little to no protein. Over 5 to 7 days, you are going to notice that drop in recoverability. So making sure your protein is in there is integral. Second to that, obviously we've got Real Meal bars. I've spoken about those no end, but if you haven't already tried them, get amongst them. I've used these in some of the most austere fucking environments on earth, and they're incredible. They do exactly what they said they would do on the tin. We've got some beef jerky going in, which I won't be taking on the event. I just fucking like beef jerky. We've got brew kit, electrolytes, and some Brufin, because I'm currently managing a bit of a back injury. So we'll get that packed in and look forward to some scoff tonight.
How did you come to the conclusion of like your happy place, let's call it?
It just came pretty organically, like when you're out doing things like that and you're allowing your mind to wander. And there's fuck all else to look at in the Sahara at night, so it's either sand or black, and you've only got what's in your head torch, and your mind starts to wander, doesn't it? And that's where it just kept wandering off to and taking me back to it. And I was like, all right, well, we'll keep going back to that place, because time seems to go faster when we're in that place, and I can't worry much about the pain in my feet and stuff. So just kept kind of going back to that, and that's I think what initiated or like birthed the thought that you've already got everything you need. Because I looked at the home that I've got,
dog, relationships. And I was like, you've got everything you need. Obviously, then the challenge is trying to integrate that with a Western culture where you have to strive, you have to innovate, you have to develop, you have to be commercially viable. So it's just trying to find ways to integrate that, which is the challenge, I think.
Yeah, it's like finding that balance between being content but also trying to just improve a little bit.
Well, the way that I've come to understand it is just removing the degree of importance that I attach to the outcome. So, commercially we've got goals, the things that we want to achieve, but I think a lot of people are still hanging their self-worth on that. Oh, I've got to make this much money, or I've got to grow the company this much, I've got to be on these podcasts, whatever the fuck it is. And yeah, like those are definitely milestones and lag indicators of your behaviour that could be perceived as successful. But if you hang your hat on it, then it's quite a damaging and dangerous place to be, because you're expecting validation from outside. Whereas when you've got validation from inside, like I knew how much I gave and what we all experience and go through on races like that, you've really met yourself, you know who you are, and you're kind of at peace with it, because you know what you've been through, you know who you are. So then if you achieve that thing, fantastic, really happy about that. If you don't, it's like, oh, it's not a comment about who I am. Like, we can just adjust the steps that we're taking, rather than feel like it's a personal attack on us because we didn't facilitate that. Go on, mate. It's just what you need for your bad back, innit? So that's me gained in the region of 500 meters of elevation, and I've deliberately done it at quite a slow pace. And there's a reason for that. I was actually having this chat with a great client of mine inside the program yesterday. Not all training needs to be with the intent of seeing yourself off. Of course, hard sessions, intense sessions have to facilitate that. But when you're coming out just to get miles on the legs, to get over arduous terrain in beautiful surroundings, there's absolutely fuck all wrong with staying in zone 2 and zone 3 and actually having the capacity to look up and look around you, because although you might have gotten there 10 minutes faster, you'd have missed out on all this. Vortex inside that Bergen. Mate, this is one of my best little finds in the States. This is this brand called Sitka. It's fucking hunting gear and it is Gucci. Mega lightweight, mega warm, and you can't get it here in the UK. Like I said, it's a weird anomaly of this area of the lakes. Like, as soon as the sun starts to go down, you just get a fucking gust of wind. So one of the things I've spoken about with extreme races like this is the fact that people forget to factor in training for survivability, for want of a better phrase. And this was kind of drilled into me by the incredible Elizabeth Barnes, who I consult with in matters of preparation for races like this, because she's phenomenally experienced. And I believe the best way to pick up on those experiences is find people who've done what you want to do and ask them how they did it. But then I've also got kind of first-hand experience from the desert, from the MDS, whereby you've just had an absolute day from hell, been spanked around what is, probably the toughest course on earth. And all you want to do is get back into the tent, laugh and joke with your mates, and essentially just fucking mong it. But that's just compounding shit on shit. And actually, you probably have a good 90 minutes to 2 hours of admin that you need to be doing when you get back into the bivouac in order to function to the very best of your ability day after day. So coming out and doing things like this not only is an incredible experience, it gets you into that mindset, it gets you into that mentality of having to administrate yourself, of having discipline, of doing things that you don't really feel like doing, that you don't want to do, because in doing so, you just improve your ability to function. And if you're more comfortable doing uncomfortable stuff, then you are able to have more enjoyment in the process. You're able to apply yourself and give yourself the best possible chance of succeeding, which to me is the epitome of professionalism on events like this. So as you might have guessed from my attire, the temperature has dropped considerably. We are in the north of England in January, so I would hazard a guess we're now into like early minus temperatures. Probably going to be a pretty cold night, which is all the fun of the fair. So looking forward to it. Nice and maybe so here we are, having a roaring fire around the campsite. It kind of really brings together, for me personally, and I think a great many people, men especially in the world, share this view. It brings together the importance of having goals and hobbies that allow you to do things like this. And when you look at it through a holistic lens, which I think we've failed to do for a number of years now, you realise that stuff like this is not separate, it's not tangential from our professional capabilities, from our ability to turn up in our relationships. It's actually a really integral component part of it. Because doing stuff like this, and whether camping is your thing, whether being the great outdoors is your thing or not is irrelevant, but doing your thing, taking yourself off grid to an extent, really refilling and reinvigorating your cup with what it is that makes you feel human, what it is that makes you feel fulfilled, is never going to be a detriment to any of the other areas that you aspire to be great in your life, whether that's your work, your relationships, or a number of them. So for me, really brings together and speaks to the power of setting goals that are aligned with who you aspire to be as a man, as opposed to what might look good on Instagram, which I think, again, as a species we've been guilty of over the past sort of 10 years, and understanding who it is you aspire to be and asking yourself not what kind of clout, what kind of impact would come from doing that, but what kind of man would attain that goal, and what kind of man do I need to become to facilitate that. And for me, that's the beauty of starting with the end in mind, looking at who it is you aspire to be, what it is you aspire to achieve,
and then reversing back from that and really looking to find that passion and purpose intersect so that you can set goals that not only refill and replenish your cup so you can take it into your professional environment, into your home life, but also technically this is training. This is part of training for an event, which equally is going to hopefully grow me as a man, grow me as a human, inspire me as a leader, and fill me with a great many different experiences, worldviews and perspectives that I could take back not only to those closest to me, but also hold within myself and communicate to my clients and to those who look to me for some kind of leadership or experience. So that to me is kind of a short part on why I think this is so integral, and that's without even talking about the power of connectedness. Obviously there's me here, what you can't see is there's someone on the other side of this camera as well, but it only takes 1, 2, 3, a few of you to get together on a regular basis, break bread, share a fucking bottle of water around the fire, and I think that's something that as a species we've really fucking lost. And I just think it's too powerful for us to ignore. I know it sounds a little bit spiritual, a little bit woo, a little bit out there, but I think it's a message that's beginning to land with more and more men, and don't knock it till you try it. So, gonna have a fire here, gonna have a little bit more food, gonna get my head down, and this is probably the first early night I've had for God knows how long. To give you context, it is now 6:20, and it's fucking pitch black. So we'll get a bit of food, get an early night, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the sunrise in the morning. Go. 1 times chocolate pudding. Got to look after the cameraman, haven't you? Yeah, mate. Tuck in.
Thank you. What flavour is it?
Thai green chicken curry, mate. It is fucking mega, to be honest.
How does it compare to an actual Thai green curry?
Depends if you're asking if it's one that I could make or one I would buy from a restaurant. It's 2 very different answers. Little pro tip if you're using these, make sure you open all the bottom out first, because otherwise all the fucking powder gets stuck there and you end up with crispy shit, which I actually quite like, but it will give you the shits. Second thing, they rehydrate faster and more effectively if you keep them warm, i.e. off the floor. So once you've got your water in and we've agitated it, make the most, stick it in there, forget about it for 15 minutes, come back. Not only have you got a warm stomach, you can have nice warm fully cooked food in about 10 minutes. This is genuinely, of all the ones they do, one of the nicest in their menu, and it's the highest protein, 1,000 calories in this bad boy, of which, brilliantly, as I was about to pick them up, they've put a fucking sticker over it, so I can't tell you exactly how much protein is in it, but I believe it's in the region of 40 grams. That being said, I do have a love-hate relationship with it, because I ate at least 2 of this flavour every day while I was on the MDS, so it is harder to eat these days, but it's still fucking good.
I'll try some.
So you're joining me at bedtime. One of the questions that I get asked actually quite frequently is about sleep system. Owing to the weather system that we're in, the sleep system is not representative at all of what we use in the jungle. Normally I like to use a really thin thermarest. This is not that, this is quite a heavy duty air inflated mountain equipment one with a really good R rating, which we need because the ground temperature is pretty cold tonight. Then I've got the Sirac 600 down bag, which is my go-to when it's cold like this. I've used this in some really adverse weather conditions, up to and including Norway. It is a fucking great bag, and then an inflatable pillow. So that'll be me getting my head down. It is now currently 9:15, so a nice early night. The best thing about camping in the winter months is that, and there's no one else around. Get a good night's sleep, fingers crossed, and then we'll see you in the morning to go through my morning routine.
It's a lot more still than I thought it was going to be through the night.
In what way?
I was assuming it was going to fucking blow a hoolie, but I actually
got a decent night's sleep. I hate rubbing it in because the cameraman didn't, but I was still catching 40 winks when he came to wake me up, which is pretty rare. Normally I like to be one of the first up. But yeah, it was a good night, cold night. Only had to get up for a piss once. Happy with that. So we'll get into morning routine. Get out my nice toasty warm DOS bag, which I don't want to do, but I will. Get into morning routine, and we'll get amongst it.
Grateful to have a good night's sleep last night. There've been a lot of times when it's blown a hoolie that you just don't really fucking sleep at all. Despite that, I never feel tired when I've gotten up. As soon as the sun comes up, I'm like full of beans, full of fucking energy. It's pretty unique in its ability to recharge you, I think.
So this is the sleeping bag that I use. It pretty much is a 4-season bag, and this is comfort rating. So this is a Robin Select 600, and I fucking love camping in the winter, mainly for this thing, because I get to snuggle my fucking little corpse into this thing. As you can see on here, you'll be comfortable, even at -7 if you're a woman and you happen to be watching this. If you are, you're probably lost. But you'll comfortably kind of sleep up to -14, and the extremity of this is -35. Now you can give or take about 10 Celsius from these, from what the manufacturers say, but even then you're going to be comfortable at -4, which you probably didn't reach last night, and you're going to be in the extremity comfortable to about -25, or you're going to be survivable to -25. Really, really good DOS bag. It is down, so obviously it would not perform well if you were to get it wet, but yeah, really, really good bag. Highly recommend. Electrolytes in here.
What's that, sir?
That is just gone all over my bastard glove. These are Precision Hydration 500mg electrolytes. So these are kind of for daily use. The ones that you'd get off the shelf in terms of electrolytes, they're just radically underdosed from a sodium perspective. They're about 200mg of sodium. The average human will sweat between like 700 and 900mg of sodium per litre, and you probably lose up to a litre in your sleep, so that's why you can often feel quite lethargic, quite tired when you do wake up. This is an identical element of my morning routine. In fact, the only thing that's going to be different is I'm going to have to go and get water from the stream, not from the tap. It's refined, I know that it works, I can apply it in any different setting or scenario, whether it's on the side of a mountain in freezing temperatures, when I'm on holiday, whether I'm in hotel rooms on work, whether I'm at home, it just consistently works. So the first element of that is getting some sodium into the system way before you get caffeine in. Caffeine works on the adrenal system, which is going to take a little while to actually swing into effect and be online and available. This works on, caffeine works on an adenosine system, and that's going to take a little while to come online. This works on an adrenal system, which is pretty much as soon as I start getting sodium in, it's going to make me feel more perked up, more awake, all that sort of good stuff. So this is going to go in with an adequate amount of sodium from the Precision Hydration tablets. Then I'm going to go collect some water, get some water boiling for the cameraman's breakfast and for a coffee, and then we're going to enjoy the sunrise. About 70 seconds on that, mate. 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 should get a hiss. couple is up.
Cheers, dude.
Start again.
Good shit.
Half stone Latin now, mate. Spring in my step. So that's it, the end of episode 1 has come around already. As you can see, we've now packed up, man-packed, left absolutely no trace, which is integral if you are going to come out and do what we've just done, and a little bit of a mooch back down to the car. From our perspective, I want to say thank you so much for watching. There are about 10 episodes to come, so please do comment, like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss the next one, and I really look forward to seeing you again then.